They called us reckless builders. Aliens laughed at our crude machines, at our cities of glass and steel, at the way we stacked stone upon stone and called it civilization. To them, we were little more than children playing with dangerous toys. But what they never understood was that humans were not just building for today. We were building for tomorrow. Every brick, every beam, every starship launched into the void was a message written into the future. We will outlast you. Before I begin this story, let me ask you, where are you watching from? Drop your city name in the comments below. And if you enjoy these kinds of tales where humanity proves itself against the galaxy, make sure you like this video and subscribe, because more is coming. Now let's step into the future. Let's see what happens when humanity's love for building, the thing we were mocked for, becomes the foundation of something the galaxy could not ignore. At first contact, the galaxy saw Earth as nothing more than a backwater planet, a minor curiosity orbiting an average star. Our technology was crude compared to theirs. We burned fuel instead of bending gravity. We built ships out of metal plates instead of seamless alloys woven in zero-G. To them, we were a species stumbling through the dark with torches while they glided with lanterns of plasma. But even in those early days, aliens noticed something strange about humans. We never stopped building. Every time they thought they understood the limits of our reach, we extended it. Cities that stretched higher, longer, wider. Networks of roads that threaded continents. Bridges that crossed impossible chasms. Machines that replaced our muscles, then machines that replaced our machines. To alien minds, this endless construction was chaos, waste, even arrogance. But to us, it was survival. Because humans had learned, long before we ever left Earth, that the only way to live through tomorrow was to build for it today. The first time humanity joined the Galactic Concord, the assembly of civilizations older and greater than our own, we were dismissed as apprentices. The Vayari diplomats smiled at us as though we were children holding tools too large for our hands. The Crix engineers chuckled when they examined our starships, brute force vessels that required enormous fuel reserves and constant maintenance. Humans are industrious, they admitted, but they build only for themselves. Their structures will not stand the tests of centuries. Their cities will fall before they matter. They didn't realize that humans had already proven otherwise. We had ruins older than some of their empires, stone circles that still stood against wind and storm, bridges built by hands thousands of years dead, still carrying the weight of modern life. The galaxy had never needed to build against time. Their worlds were stable, their empires unbroken, their histories uninterrupted. But we had always lived with collapse at our heels. Empires rose and fell on Earth in the blink of cosmic time. And every time they fell, we rebuilt. Stronger, higher, smarter. This, the galaxy could not yet see. The real change began on Vayar Prime. It was one of the jewel worlds of the Concord, a city world covered in elegant spires that reached so high they touched the clouds. For centuries, the Vayari had claimed their construction was eternal, proof of their perfect engineering. But the planet quaked, subterranean shifts they had ignored for too long. Foundations cracked, towers swayed. And then, one day, a storm came. Lightning split the sky, rain fell in torrents, and the proud spires of Vayar Prime began to crumble. The Vayari panicked. Their technology could not save them. Their gravitic stabilizers failed when too many systems collapsed at once. Their elegant designs had no redundancies. They had built for perfection, not for failure. But humans were there. Not as rulers, not as overlords, just as junior engineers, laborers, temporary workers brought to help expand a trade hub. When the towers fell, it was humans who rushed into the storm. We did what we had always done. We built. We threw up scaffolding, shored up the bases with whatever material we could salvage. We cut stone, welded steel, laid supports in the middle of chaos. We didn't wait for orders. We improvised. We worked while the rain blinded us, while the ground shook beneath our boots, while alien engineers screamed that it was impossible. By dawn, half the city was saved. Not pretty, not elegant, not perfect, but standing. Alive. For the first time, the Veyari looked at humans not with condescension, but with awe. They saw a people who built not to impress, but to endure, who didn't believe in perfection, but in persistence. And the story of that night spread across the stars. Soon, other species began to notice patterns. When humans colonized a planet, their settlements grew fast. Not neat, not planned, not according to any galactic textbook, but they grew. A mining outpost became a town. A town became a city. A city became a web of roads, industries, markets, and towers. Where other species built one perfect city and left the rest of the world empty, humans seeded their colonies like gardens. They spread roots everywhere. Alien visitors began asking questions. Why so many roads? In case the main one fails. Why so many water systems? In case one runs dry. Why so many backups? Because tomorrow always comes, and tomorrow always breaks something. They laughed at us still, but less loudly now. Then came the war. The Zir Dominion, a species that saw themselves as eternal conquerors, launched a campaign against the Concord. Their fleets were immense, their weapons terrifying. Worlds fell in days. Civilizations collapsed that had never known war on such a scale. And yet, in every shattered city, every broken colony, the survivors whispered the same thing. Where are the humans? Because wherever humans were, rebuilding began the moment the bombs stopped falling. We patched ships with scrap metal. We turned ruins into shelters. We dug bunkers into the sides of mountains. We built resistance networks with whatever tools we had. And when the Zir thought they had crushed us, we emerged from the rubble stronger than before. For every city they burned, we built 2 more. For every road they broke, we laid 5. For every bridge they destroyed, we spanned entire valleys. The Zir could not understand it. To them, conquest was final. Destruction was absolute. But to us, destruction was just the start of rebuilding. And slowly, the war shifted. Not because humans had the greatest weapons, not because we had the largest fleets, but because we would not stop building. We built warships faster than they could destroy them. We built alliances where there had only been fear. We built hope in the ruins of despair. And at last, the Zir Dominion fell. Not because they were outgunned, but because they could not break the will of a species that built tomorrow, no matter how many times today was shattered. After the war, everything changed. Humans were no longer apprentices, no longer reckless children. We were the builders of the galaxy's future. When alien civilizations needed reconstruction, they called us. When a colony needed expansion, they called us. When a world faced collapse, they called us. We built bridges across oceans, cities in the skies of gas giants, tunnels through moons, starports that orbited suns. We built places no one had dared to dream of before. And as we built, something remarkable happened. The galaxy began to change. Species that had once valued elegance over endurance began adding redundancies to their designs. They began thinking not of decades, but of centuries. They began planning for failure, for collapse, for the inevitable tomorrow. Humanity had given them a gift, not just stone and steel, but a philosophy. A way of seeing time not as an enemy, but as a challenge. The greatest symbol of this change came with the Forge of Concord. It was not a human idea alone, but it was impossible without us. At the heart of neutral space, on an asteroid belt rich with ore, we built something no one thought possible. A city not for one species, but for all. A place where every civilization could contribute, every culture could leave its mark. Spires of Veyari crystal rose beside human steel. Domes of Crix alloy shimmered beside sprawling Terran neighborhoods. Bridges spanned not just valleys, but entire cultures. It was chaos. It was imperfect. It was alive. And it worked. For the first time, the galaxy looked not at what divided us, but at what we could build together. The Forge became a beacon. Travelers from every corner of the stars came to see it. Not because it was the tallest or the strongest or the most beautiful, but because it was built for tomorrow. And tomorrow, it seemed, belonged to humans. When I look back now, I realize something simple. We were never just building cities or ships or machines. We were building belief. Belief that no matter what came, no matter what fell apart, no matter how many times the world ended, tomorrow could be better, tomorrow could be stronger, tomorrow could be ours. That is what it means to be human. We are not the strongest, not the fastest, not the most advanced, but we are the ones who build tomorrow. And when the galaxy finally understood that, everything changed forever. That was the story of how humanity became the builders of tomorrow. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button. Drop a comment with your city's name so I know where you're watching from. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories where humans prove themselves against the galaxy. Because tomorrow, we're already building it.